oh. So I just snapped my headset into place, but just so everybody knows, we discussed earlier that the Thoughts on the Bench blog is going through some shit. Um, Basically, we are blocked due to spam for posting things in 2020. So I've made this commitment to my guys. A little recap to Thoughts to the Bench. I started Thoughts on the Bench 2 years ago. It was myself alone when I started writing. Obviously, Greg picked up and started doing more of the blogging with me, or more of the podcasting, excuse me. So 2 years deep started, but for a solid year, it was myself. For a solid year, it was just me blogging, and it was rough. It was tough. It was one of those things where I've heard it many a times, man, where you're sitting there and you have people that are talking about like, yeah, I started a blog too. It sucked, or it failed, or it did what it did. And that's why I take so much pride in the group of guys that we have. I take an enormous amount of pride in the characters we've created. I take an enormous amount of pride in the fact that people take pride in writing for Thoughts on the Bench. I take a lot of pride in the human that I've become, and I take a lot of pride in the human that a lot of these guys have become. So fuck Facebook. Here's what we're going to do. Live every night. It's going to suck. But it's going to be funny. It's going to be viral. I mean, I'm expecting 5 to 6 a night, and it's going to push our guys to write a little bit more. This one's not so much for the live viewership. This one is 100% a video that should live on as a compilation because straight up, we got blocked, and our guys' blogs deserve to be read. So the beautiful thing about today is that I'm not even going to read my own blog, so you guys are pretty safe from that. But we did have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blogs up that were not written by me that will be written or read live on the internet right now. I would love for this to turn into something that is it's a little lagging now, so apologies. I would love for this to turn into something that is, a video a year from now. But the point of this is to make it not a video from a year from now. The point is that I have guys that are putting their name behind my name, guys that are putting their name behind Thoughts on the Bench that deserve to have their shit read. And for a while, we've had it pretty blocked off. And by that while, I mean today. So in an attempt to make sure you guys are getting all the latest Thoughts on the Bench type shit, I wanted to read this one out. And maybe we make it a video, maybe we don't. But let's get into it. So Dennis talks about the Pittsburgh Riverhounds at the time. Hounds, 3 more players to their rosters. Finally! Exclamation point. Big move, Dennis. Some good news for the Riverhounds after what has been a very depressing offseason. Between yesterday and today, January 15th to 16th, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds have announced that they have signed 3 additional players to their roster ahead of their preseason training camp set to start in February. So far, this brings the roster up to 12 signed players. The first of the 3 signings for the Riverhounds is defender Tony Walls, formerly of the USL League One squad Chattanooga Red Wolves SC. Played 24 matches during his single season with the club. Before that, Walls was the captain of Bobby Lilly's 2015 Rochester Reiner Championship squad, which only lost 1 game. All right, shout out to Dennis for the content. That was pretty impressive. During the same season, Walls was named to the All-League First Team as a midfielder. He then went on to play for St. Louis FC for 2 seasons. Walls was a former MLS draft pick for the Chicago Fire in 2012 and played collegiately at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. Personally, I feel this is a great signing for the Hounds. They addressed one of their issues in replacing Joe Greenspan, and it seems that Walls has some of the much-needed leadership experience to bring in the Hounds' 2020 campaign. The next signing the Hounds made is yet another defender to help fill the defensive gaps. Mark Lindstrom was signed to a 1-year deal with a 2021 club option. Lindstrom, who played collegiately at UNC Wilmington, started all 17 of his appearances his senior year. He is also the only player in program history to earn all Colonial Athletic Association honors 4 times. God, Dennis, you read a lot. The other signing made was goalkeeper Anthony Mwembia, Mwembia, Mwembia played his collegiate career at Bowling Green and ended his senior year with earning United States Coaches All-North Region First Team honors. He captained the squad to the Mid-American Conference Tournament final his senior year. He immediately made an impact and started as a freshman. He averaged 16 and a half games played in 16 and a half games played in 6.5 shutouts per season. Ultimately ended his collegiate career playing 66 games, had 1.06 goals average and a .759 save percentage with 26 total shutouts. Didn't throw the ball in his own net, though, Dennis. The Hounds have enough players to field a team plus a substitution, and there is much work to be done in the front office with making more signings to the roster. This is a great start for the Hounds. It'll be interesting to see how Coach Bobby Lilly moves forward with Pearson together, another hopefully winning roster in the 2020 campaign. Great blog, Dennis. You deserve to be read. Let's switch over real quick to Austin Moorhead's latest article, State Farm Super Bowl. Well, if you guys know my original Super Bowl prediction, and just to clarify here, this is not for views, this is not for clicks. This is solely because my guys deserve all the work they've put into this to be known on a Facebook platform. Well, if you guys know my original Super Bowl prediction heading into the playoffs was Baltimore versus New Orleans. Sadly, both those teams have been eliminated. And I can only think of one reason why. The NFL wants to have a State Farm Super Bowl. That's right, I said it, a State Farm Super Bowl. So while it may seem like this is a crazy idea, let's dive forward with why this is a very likely prediction, which is my prediction, to be fair. First, let me say why I firmly believe the Chiefs are the talent to knock off the Titans. We saw what happened when the Chiefs got down by a bunch of points against Houston to see if Derrick Henry decides to have himself a game. There was no doubt in my mind that Mahomes and Chiefs can come back to a victory here. Look, for Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Damian Williams, all the factions in the offense, massive contest. Sarah, thank you for joining. Just to let you know, this is me reading the blogs from today since we got blocked. It is the least exciting thing on the internet. Just level setting. Now we come to a big matchup with the Packers and the 49ers. Believe me when I said that the 49ers were my dark horse pick for the Super Bowl. This might go against my original ideology, though. Something just tells me the Packers have more experience here when it comes to doing what it takes to get the big one. However, my true reason for them beating the 49ers relies on one individual, which is a gif of Aaron Rodgers dropping confetti. Aaron Jones in the run game, Devontae Adams will do his thing, and the run game needs to be it, but it's Aaron Rodgers. State Farm influence. Now imagine this. Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes are now both the golden boys of the State Farm, so to speak. Can you imagine how much money State Farm will make knowing its two big stars are playing each other in the Super Bowl, not to mention some commercials as well? This might seem silly, but who's about making some money in the business? Nobody. It just seems a prime opportunity for both NFL and State Farm to bring in that moolah. I love that article because we brought it up earlier that might be the possibility of State Farm. Marty writes in TSM, which I had asked him to write about TSM and Team Liquid. So here we go. In years past, this would be a chant that would echo throughout the arena when TSM took the stage, domestically and internationally. Where'd it go? What happened? What happened to the dominant force in North America that was TSM? Well, time hasn't done their roster good. They always get to the cusp of greatness again, just to falter at the last moment. It's a brutal cycle for TSM fans. These past couple months, with TSM not making Worlds in 2018 or 19. Since then, they've had numerous iterations of the roster. Some they have a glimmer of greatness, and others that, well, just weren't good. They closed out 2019 season with a following roster. Top lane, Broken Blade, Jungle, Adekin, mid lane, Bjergsen, ADC, Ven, and support, Smoothie. Realistically, the roster wasn't really bad. The only questionable roles were Adekin and Smoothie. Broken Blade proved to be consistent and a solid top laner. Bjerg is still a god, and Sven and the strong ADC, or was a strong ADC. The issues stem mostly from the jungle and some issues in the bot lane relating to Smoothie and Sven. AJ, thanks for joining, brother. Literally, since we got blocked, I am just reading our blogs for today. Totally get why you wouldn't watch, but just throwing it out there. TSM used their backup jungler Grig a good amount during the year in the spring split and moved him to a more backup role in the summer. It didn't really matter as they seemed to get outplayed regardless of which jungler was in. That being said, they did make it to the gauntlet and go to Worlds after the spring split, but lost to Clutch Gaming, who went on to attend Worlds. The season, they were aiming to be better and return to form. They went out and had some notable pickups in the lanes where they had issues. Top lane, Broken Blade, Jungle, Dardoch, mid lane, Bjergsen, ABC, Kobe, support, Biofrost. Very innovative, AJ. What it comes down to is can't let my guys fail. So this is what we've come up to. With a most revamped roster, TSM is looking fresh, starting with their new jungler, Darbuch. Darbuch is a curious topic in LCS. Mechanically, he's very good. He's a jungler. He's very elite as well. His pathing, jungle sense, and ganking is top-notch. So where is the issue? Well, the dude is a temper. He's gone through numerous teams purely because his attitude is trash. It's a shame, really, because he's a very talented player. He just needs to not be such a dick, to put it nicely. Next, their new ADC. Shout out to Marty for letting me use that. Kobe, K-O-B-B-E, is an important player brought in from the LEC. Kobe was the ADC for Splice, with a very, very solid showing in the Worlds in 2019. They were knocked out in the quarterfinals where they were matched up against the juggernaut SKT T1. Kobe was a standout ADC last year, consistently outplaying almost every bot lane he faced with a lot of individual talent. And then finally, their new support. Biofrost isn't exactly new when it comes to TSM. He previously was their support and was consistently good for them. He just chose to leave them and play elsewhere, so I'm sure the reunion with TSM was a good one and worth his time. After the year Kobe had, I'm not surprised he wanted to come back and play with him. If those two were to gel together, I had a solid feeling that TSM would come back from the few standings. I have a hard time believing TSM will ever return to the form of dominance they once had, unfortunately. I just think that other teams have caught up to where TSM once was and surpassed them. Bjergsen is a highly talented player, but he's been forced to carry the weight of the team recently, with some support from mainly just Broken Blade. That's just a sustainable way to win games anymore. With the skill levels of players just constantly going up, you need a team of 5 of equal footing to really compete. This current version of TSM may be able to do just that, but I'm not sure it'll be enough to propel them to the top 3. Wonderful, Marty. All right, guys, you only have 3 more to sit through me today, so that's pretty exciting for you. NHL All-Star Weekend, Elite Women's 3-on-3. Jesus, Vo, this is enough. The NHL All-Star Weekend has always been one of my favorites. All-Star Weekend consists of many live performances, autograph signings, a fan favorite NHL All-Star competition, and of course, the NHL All-Star Game. This year's 2020 Honda NHL All-Star Weekend takes place in St. Louis, home of the reigning Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. In case you missed it, the NHL announced their rosters for the Elite Women's 3v3 event, which is composed of the best U.S. and Canadian women's players. The event will be introduced during the NHL Skills Competition. Over the past couple of years, the NHL as its affiliates have been spreading the love of women's hockey. What better way to promote the sport than showcasing it at one of the NHL's biggest events of the season? In past season skills competition events, such as the fastest skater, puck handling, and the hardest shot, have included a woman player here and there. However, this will be the first event of its kind to openly and only include women. The event will consist of 2 10-minute running periods and will have an overtime period if it ends in a tie. I'm excited to see this event take place, Vo writes. Hockey fans have fallen in love with the back and forth of 3-on-3 hockey, with stars like Amanda Kessel, Hilary Knight, and Jocelyn, this is the most French name of all time, Jocelyn Lemarou Davidson. And Sarah Nurse leading the way, the event will definitely not disappoint. The Elite Women's 3-on-3, just one of the many events, the NHL Skills Competition. Be sure to follow the action live on January 24th, as well as watch the NHL All-Star Game on Saturday, January 25th. Wonderful, though. One more article left today. Carlos Beltran and the New York Mets part ways. And again, guys, you wouldn't have to sit through this if Facebook didn't block us. It's official. I believe the great Blogdini writes. I have no clue who wrote this one. It's official. Another MLB manager has stepped down amid the sign-stealing scandal that has made waves through the league over the past weeks. First, it was the Houston Astros manager, A.J. Hinch, and general manager, Jeff Luhnow. Then it was the Boston manager, Alex Cora. Now, Carlos Beltran has stepped down from his manager, positioning the New York Mets. So far through the scandal, only managers and front office officials involved with the scandal in Houston have met repercussions. But while Beltran is a manager with the Mets now, well, he was a player for the Astros in 2017 and probably played a part in the sign stealing system that was put into place. Rumors have been flying around about what happened with Beltran since no players have been punished, but both the organization and Beltran thought it was best to part ways, which is horseshit because it was just the organization, in my opinion. The future was starting to look bright in New York for the blue, orange, and white, but another unfortunate act has left them without manager as spring training approaches. One thing is for certain, though, as Votash tweets in, Carlos Beltran was undefeated as the Mets manager. Hashtag big facts. All right, guys, this is something we're going to be doing every night until we don't get blocked on Facebook anymore. Like I mentioned, my guys have put too much time and too much faith into the brand and too much understanding for what Thoughts on the Bench stands for to not have their blogs heard. So I will be reading every single blog that is dropped during the day that can't be put on Facebook on a Facebook Live video, as ironically that is. And I will be finishing it off like this. Thanks for watching, guys.